not prepared for a cyber attack. And
what would it involve, Governor?
Well, it could involve attack on our utilities. It could involve attack on our computers. It could involve attack on anything. It could be in the private sector, the public sector. We've already got attacks right now, which are sucking information out of our ingenuity, out of our private sector inventions, and that's going to cost us jobs in the future. And we know that people have already gotten secrets out of the U.S. Defense Department on our weapons system.
Do you always think you're far more reasoned actually than I am? I get paranoid when I see all these incidents of cyber attacks, whether it's at Home Depot and all, it finds out months after the fact, whatever, but that they're leading up to something, that they're almost practice runs.
Yeah, well, look, I've talked to almost every intelligence specialist in the Obama administration over the past 6 months. They all bring up cyber. And one of them said it's the day before 9/11 as far as cyber goes. Another said it's the biggest transfer of information from us to somebody else in the world's history. And they're scared. Because
what are they scared about? Because we all upload stuff to the cloud, our financial stuff, our personal stuff.
Everything on there. Our whole banking system, our whole grid for power sources, everything's on there. And it's just, it's enormously worrisome because we haven't set up a defense system.
Well, you said we're kind of all over the map on this.
Yeah, the Congress has not been able to pass a bill yet. So there isn't even a...
But what would a bill do? The bill to do what?
A bill would really allow the private sector to work together with NASA, the experts in the federal government, so you could have some kind of a plan where you took the expertise in NSA, gave some of it to the private sector.
See, I get worried about the creepy factor there. That in building this wall or whatever, they're spying on my stuff.
They're not interested in you on this one.
Really?
Maybe on something else, yeah. The only reason they're interested in you is as part of a vague network. And if your cell phone is talking to somebody who's on a terrorist network, they want to be able to pick that up so they can trace who you're talking to and why, and that's the only thing they're interested in.
What are they, when I hear, Governor, they're talking about, we're hearing increased chatter lately. What does that mean?
Well, that's what we heard before 9/11. Yeah. It means there's an awful lot of talk among terrorists where we try to interfere and try to hear what they're saying. A lot of chatter. Now, often it's not definite. Before 9/11, we never found out that they try to put planes into buildings. But we did know there was a lot of terrorist talk going on, and that they were talking to each other about something big. And some of the intelligence people said at the time their hair was on fire because they knew something was going on. They just couldn't figure out what it was. That kind of chatter is going on now.
Well, I talked to someone, got that feeling again. I don't mean to overdo this, but that something is happening, or whether it's pegged to a date, but it's increasing, or maybe we're such sophisticated devices today that we could track this and at levels we didn't used to. But that they're worried. Are they worried of a cyber attack? Something akin to what we saw in 9/11? What?
They're not worried. I don't think they should be worried about 9/11 type attack, because that took 3 years to plan. That takes a safe place. It takes training of terrorists.
But it only cost $500,000.
It only cost that, but it took 3 years to repair. And they haven't had a safe place to do that. One of the things we're worried about ISIS is if they succeeded, they will create a safe place to plan 2 or 3 years, if necessary, to do another major attack in the United States. Without that capability to plan an attack, what we're worried about is one-off attacks. We're worried about people who are radicalized on the internet. People like the so-called Times Square bomber, or people like the Underpants bomber, or that kind of person. The bombers are certainly up in Boston.
Right.
I mean, those kind of people who are lone wolf terrorists. That's what we're worried about right now. But if we don't do something about ISIS and some of these other threats in the world, we could, a year or so from now, be worried about a bigger threat.
Yeah. Well, to your point, they are talking to each other. I don't know what they're saying. Tom Kean, chair of the 9/11 Commission, former governor,